Hello, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a tutorial for how to make this little hexagon shaped needle book. I really love this project because it's all stitched by hand and it's a great place to keep your needles organised. So I have the sharp ones on the first page and some embroidery needles on my second page. I also love the little needle book because it fits perfectly into the hexagon sewing case. So it is a free pattern and you can find this on my website if you go to the free patterns page and then scroll down past the seasonal sampler, and then you will find the hexagon needle book templates there. Click on them and then you can print them out and you're ready to start. There are also some written instructions and you can download those. They're in my shop. You'll get the written instructions and also those templates. You'll get both files if you download them from this place here. And it's all free. So you will need a rotary cutter, some sharp scissors, a ruler. I like to use these wonder clips, they're really useful. I've got the small size there. You'll need some pins. I like the clover applique pins. You'll need some hand sewing thread, some embroidery threads, and a sew line glue pen is really useful too. You'll also need a piece of quilting cotton, a contrast fabric, I'm using linen, a piece of foam or wadding to add stability, some felt for the pages inside, and some scraps of pretty fabric to make your hexagon flower. You'll also need some 1/2 inch hexagon templates. I'm using hexiform ones. And then you'll need to cut out your hexagons from the free download. Start by placing your hexagon, your largest hexagon, onto the quilting cotton and cut it out. I'm cutting it out exactly, I'm not leaving any seam allowance. Once you've done that, you'll want to cut out your 2-inch hexagon from your foam and also from your contrast fabric. Next, take your scrap fabric and place it right side down. Now position your 1/2 inch hexagon templates onto the fabric. I'm using hexiform so the fluffy side is face down, and I've left about 1 inch between each one. This will allow me to go in and cut it out, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm also going to baste one more 1/2 inch hexagon on a scrap of the pink quilting cotton that I cut out previously. Cut them out, leaving about a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. And then baste your hexagons. I'm using glue, you could thread baste, and I do have a whole video about basting hexagons which I'll link to above. Now it's time to sew them together to make a hexagon flower. I'm using some fine thread, it's called Invisifil by Wonderfil and I really love this thread. And I've got a size 11 milliner needle. And I'm going to join the hexagons together to make a hexagon flower. I have a video dedicated to this where I talk in more detail about how I do it and the order I join them in and how I do the whip stitch. So I'll leave a link to that video above and below as well, so you can check that out if maybe this is your first time giving English paper piecing a go. And once your flower is complete, it's time to add a little bit of embellishment, and I love adding some embroidery. Here I'm just adding a lazy daisy flower to the centre. Again, I have a video dedicated to this, so I'll leave links for that below. So I'm just going to breeze through it today, but if you want to learn more about that, do check out the other video. It's really fun to add a little bit of embroidery. I love adding the lazy daisy flower and of course a French knot in the centre. Now it's time to add the flower onto your contrast fabric, so I've chosen linen to be the background for the needlebook. So I just add some dots of the sew-line glue just to tack it in place. You could fold the linen in half and in half again to find the centre point. I always just do everything by eye, so everything I do is never quite perfect. That's just the way I do it. And I'm adding some pins as well just to keep it all in place. We don't want it to move at all. Once that's secure, place it on top of the foam and pin it again in place. Now secure your hexagon flower to the backing fabric with an applique stitch. As I do this stitch, I am securing the flower to the backing fabric and going a little bit into the foam as well. Not all the way through, but I am just catching a few layers of the foam, so that is securing everything together. Once the layers are secure, I like to add a little bit of hand quilting around the edge, just a simple running stitch. I think it really adds definition and also some handmade charm. It's really simple to do, just simple stitches spaced out as evenly as you can. And the final result is really nice. Next, pin the other piece of backing fabric on top of the other piece of foam, and I like to add a little lazy daisy flower here too. You can never have enough of these, but it's entirely up to you. You don't have to embroider this on the back. You could put something different on, maybe another hexagon flower or a smaller one. It's entirely up to you. But lazy daisy stitches are quite simple and fun to do. Next, place the hexagons you've just made on top of the wrong side of the quilting cotton you have for your backing. I use some glue to hold it in place, make sure the corners are all lined up and that it's exactly in the centre. I also add some pins just to keep it really secure, and then you want to fold over each edge by about 1/4 inch. You can give it a press with an iron or seam roller, and then fold it over again. And this is where the wonder clips come in really useful, because they just sort of clip over the edge and hold everything in place. I really like them, I use them a lot. If you don't have wonder clips, you can still definitely do this. You can just put some pins in, but they do make it really easy. You don't have to press either, you can finger press, but I do find it helps. And you really just want to try and make it even all the way around, making sure your corners line up. Continue folding and pressing and clipping or pinning all the way around the hexagon, and do the same on the back as well. Now you're ready to secure this in place, again with a similar applique stitch, just going through a few of the layers. You don't need to go all the way to the back. Sometimes the thread can get caught on those wonder clips, but the further you go around, the easier it gets, because you remove the clips as you go. So just catching the edge of the fabric and then going through that top layer and a little bit into the foam to secure it in place. When you get to a corner, just do the exact same stitch, just following that corner seam right up to the top point, and then you can bring your thread back down again behind the fabric so you can carry on along the path you were on before. Do the same for the back hexagon, and now it's time to join them together. So decide which way around you want them, and remember that the point is going to be at the top. That's the way it is going to open. And then I put a clip in a couple of places just to hold them together, and then it's time to do a ladder stitch to join them down the spine of the needle book. A ladder stitch is really simple to do. You just make a short stitch underneath the fabric and then go directly across to the other side and do the same. And you'll see that by repeating this along, you can see the thread carried across the gap, and it looks like the rungs of a ladder. So just keep working in this way, taking the short, straight stitches underneath the fabric on one side and then the other side. Keep alternating all the way down to the end of the spine of the needlebook. When you get to the end, you can pull your thread and your stitches will disappear. You won't see the rungs of the ladder anymore. Make sure you use a strong polyester thread to do this. If you use cotton, it'll snap. And then you'll see it gives you a really nice finish, and your two halves are joined up. Now time to make the felt pages. So I position the template about 1/2 inch away from the fold of the felt, making sure that when I go around, I don't cut that final side of the hexagon, otherwise I'll end up with 2 hexagons. I want 2 hexagons joined together, So I've gone across to the edge there rather than cut down that side. That's important. And by doing that, you've got 2 hexagons joined together. And then you can attach them inside your needle book. I've done this a few different ways. You can stitch straight down the middle with it opened out, but recently I've been doing the same sort of applique blind hem type stitch to secure it in place. Again, I'm not going all the way through the layers to the other side. I'm just catching the fabric, going a little bit into the foam but not much, just to secure it all in place. And once that is secure, you're finished. It's complete. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you love it, and I hope you make one and that you really enjoy the process of making such a nice little item all by hand. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.